guidance for media now. If I have a serious scene and I have 20 vehicles there already, emergency response, just what I need is 4 or 5 more media folks, right? So how can we, before we get out there on the scene, how can we put together a best practices guideline to help us communicate with media? You know, most of us now, we have this handy-dandy cell phone here. What do we have on it? We have a camera, and we have the capability to send a picture. So if I'm at this scene, I take a picture, I'm public information, or I have some information about public information. Dave Burston is our PIO guy, so I take a picture, I send it to Dave. Dave, this is my picture. He sends it out to the whole media. They don't have to be at the scene right then. So we can do some preliminary stuff to help keep our scene from getting all clogged up. They are again talking about property damage tags. Now, just real quickly, I've got a couple extra minutes here. This is a graph that shows the green is fiscal year 2010 money, the invoices that were billed, and the red is fiscal year 11, and the blue is fiscal year to date for 2012. And for us, it goes July 1st to June 30th. So we're halfway through. In LaPorte District, they have already surpassed what they brought in, the bills that they received on those invoices from the damage tags that they would not have had before. Okay? And one of these places, we're at $1.4 million more that they have received so far this fiscal year than what they did last year. So these are things that they're talking about. In-dot pickup truck program. This was one of the 2 things that I wanted to accomplish before I left. In our cooperation, in time, we're always talking about innovative things. How can we do things better? What can we do? We have a very good working relationship with in-dot. One of the reasons is because their operations guy right now that's in charge of the traffic incident management groups and all that kind of stuff was my captain. He retired in the United States Police. He's now working for INDOT, been there about 7 or 8 years now, and he understands both sides. And they had some money left over, and we have done this before. They bought us 3 trucks, 3 pickup trucks, Dodge Rams, 1500s, 4-wheel drive, crew cab, and they fixed them up on the outside just like an INDOT truck. And the inside of this vehicle is just like a state trooper car. It's a police vehicle. And we use this specifically in work zones to try to get people, we want them to think that we have 100 trucks, or that every INDOT truck that is at a construction site has a police officer. We did this once before. We had 1 yellow pickup truck, and we had a program where every 3 weeks we sent it to a different district. And one truck driver stopped me and he says, you guys have got about a dozen of those yellow trucks. I said, where do you use them? Well, I didn't tell him we only had 1. I said, yes, well, we use them all over the state. We have 1 truck. But we want them to think about what they're doing in those areas. I wanted to show you a picture of that. I couldn't get one in time. We have an in-time website. And this is the website you can go to and download information from. Mike Podgorski, who's a captain with the fire department, he and I did a presentation on October 21st of a new federal program that is going to be available very soon from Federal Highway Administration called SHARP 2. And I will be one of 3 instructors that will be going around the state of the United States giving these training classes. They'll be 2-day courses. We had a bridge shut down on the southern part of the state going over to Louisville. They're talking about that. We need to identify a definition of what a secondary crash is. We've been going for 4 years now. We're still not happy with our definition of a secondary crash. So just a host of things. That's what our group worked on this month, today, this morning. And their next statewide meeting is Tuesday, April 17th. Now, Brian, if you or any of the folks here want to get this information, they have a webinar access each month, or each quarter when they do this. And if you get on the mailing list, Karen Stippick from Federal Highway sends out the information ahead of time, gives you the conference call number to call in to hear it, or if you have audio and a mic on your computer, you can go into that webinar and you can hear what's going on and you can interact with the meeting. Now, I'm sure that they probably would not like for you to take Oklahoma to take Indiana's time for that, but you can learn a lot. You can hear what we're doing in the state of Indiana. So all of these kind of things are on here. I had the video on the piston that flew from the car. I've got the communication in English, the Ford police chase, and there's a parking lot video on there as well. It's kind of a neat time. Now, Federal Highway Administration has this Shark 2 program that's going to be coming up in the next few months and available to states. It is broken down into 11 modules. It's a 2.5-day course for the trainers, and you would have to commit to have your trainers here for 2 full days. But it's broken down into 11 modules so that you can decide if fire departments, I don't know what's your the difference in how many volunteer and how many professional fire departments you have. But Indiana is about 75% volunteer. Some of those volunteer have 1 or 2 people that are full-time, but we have only about 25% full-time fire. So for the full-time folks, it's not that hard getting the training to them. You can sit down for an hour or 2 in the morning. If you don't have any calls, you can sit down for an hour or 2 in the afternoon, and you can get through it. But volunteer folks, I work all day, and I'm a volunteer fireman, and they meet on Wednesday nights once a month. So this month, we're going to take an hour and a half, and we're going to do response to the scene. Next month, we're going to take 45 minutes and do parking. We're going to take those modules and use the modules to train our folks and get it out statewide. The reason we put in time together the way we did, what agency are you from? EMS. Okay. I'm from law enforcement, from state police, so my responsibility is to ensure that my 1,334 state troopers statewide know about in time. And they have that quick clearance presentation. He's responsible to make sure that his EMT folks statewide hear this message. Now, normally, I went to D.C. last year twice. One time to speak to law enforcement. It was state police superintendents. And the second time for fire chiefs and big fire associations. And those were situations where we wanted to speak specifically to a discipline because we wanted their buy-in to support this training. Normally, I would say, please don't do that. I would say, if you're going to have, this next Wednesday, you're going to have training from 7 to 9, and you're going to go through arriving at the scene. I would encourage you to invite the tow drivers, the local law enforcement, your local coroner, your MPO folks. I would encourage you to invite them to come to that training. So you get what? Face to face. Folks, you can try all you want to electronically. It's not going to work.
I have a question. In Indiana, you got an MOU that said law enforcement is the lead agency.
Yes.
But how do you address the cross jurisdiction?
It is because we addressed the multilateral agreement. Is a commitment that we as agency heads will lead and instruct our agency personnel to have an open roads philosophy. We want that open roads philosophy in front of every discipline. The in-time group will work to provide common framework for development of traffic management. This is the different things it talks about. It talks about the multilateral responsibility. The in-time bylaws were approved by, we have an executive committee who is the head of each agency or association and is chaired by the superintendent of the state police. The in-time chair is appointed by the superintendent April 1st of each year. The vice chair must be a member in good standing. It could be law enforcement the first year. was a volunteer fire chief from the southern part of Indiana. Year 2 was a representative from the Sheriff's Association, actually the sheriff in my county. This last year was a gentleman from IDEM, Indiana Department of Environmental Management. He was our vice chair. Can serve for a 1-year term, and you can serve 2 in a row, then you have to sit out one. Secretary is any member in good standing. So the secretary can be anybody, and they're voted on. We have a nominating committee, and when I was there, I required them to have at least 3 candidates so that you could choose. So we didn't have just one person, and we kicked it down your throat, so this is what it's going to be. And myself as chair pushed them up by this one as well. Anyone else? Thank you very much.